And just as quick as they were gone, they are back.
We're back.
Maybe. Cautiously optimistic.
We're holding it for a review, but the Buffalo Sabres could be back because holy smokes, what a friggin' win against the Rangers in MSG. 5 goals than in less than a period and a half against Shesterkin. The best goalie in the world, as many would put it, yanked.
Yeah. Couldn't even keep up.
But I think most notably of all, we have to have the conversation. It's about Dennis Gilbert.
We are here to have a conversation about Dennis Gilbert. 3-0-0, 3 games played. I'll leave it at that.
Like
We'll leave
30
it up
minutes
to
played total.
this is good. We are having the conversation, and that's what we're here for.
Really is a passing of the torch because this is what we were talking about a few seasons ago with Samuelson. He was the guy that whenever he
Yeah.
was in the lineup, they won games.
Oh, and also Jacob Bryson, his aura, that's what's bringing this team back.
I saw he had the second most amount of ice time tonight.
Unmatched aura.
It's been really good.
He has been good.
He's actually like a really good fit for like Owen Powers like pairmate. Like it actually makes a lot of sense if you think about it.
He was making great plays, just generating space out there. Like if they were in the defensive zone and they were kind of getting buried, he would create some good space and make a pass and force either the Rangers or the Sabres into a change. So saw a lot of good out of him. Like I said, he's got aura. He has it.
A lot to discuss and break down in this, I guess, post game rendition of the Sabre Roundtable. But so yeah, welcome back to another episode of the Sabre Roundtable. My name is Jonah,
I'm Christian.
Yeah, I'm JP.
and as always, we'll be talking to you about Buffalo Sabres hockey and even a little bit of the wider NHL. So, a 6-1 victory in Madison Square Garden. Igor Shesterkin, who probably, other than Kirill Kaprizov, is the favorite for the Hart right now, or was coming into tonight, didn't even make it through 35 minutes of play in this game. The Sabres scored 5 goals against him, 3 of which in a 2 minute and 12 second span. And just like that, the Sabres just put a dagger into one of the best teams in the NHL. They were 8-2-1 coming into tonight.
And on the supposed like eve of Igor getting extended, news
Yeah,
came out today that
yeah.
he's getting an 11.5 million. No
You're
way they're
welcome.
announcing that tonight.
You're welcome.
To
We
be
just
fair,
saved them money.
Chris Drury just rescinding the phone call or the text message, just undoing the text message he sent him before the game. But yeah, Kevin Weeks with the subtle $11.5 million number in his tweet prior to the game. I mean, he could have been talking about Jimmy Vesey maybe or Keandre Miller, but I think we all know, we can all guess that it was Igor Shesterkin, and clearly a bad omen because he was rough in this one. I mean, 26 seconds in, Rasmus Dahlin just flubs one through his legs.
Yeah, that's the one you definitely want back as a goaltender, especially being your first shot in the night. He
Well,
did not look sharp at all throughout this entire game.
what was his final save percentage for the night? I
Oh,
know he only faced like,
it was like
oh my God, I'm looking at it right now.
okay. I know it was
He was
actually
5 for 12.
5 for 12. Damn,
So
damn.
he had
What a four.
.583,
Wow. Wait, what?
Jesus.
5 goals against on 12
Oh, 5 goals
on
against.
12 shots. Yeah.
I was
So
like,
7 for 12. 7 for 12.
oh, okay.
Yeah. Yes,
583.
7 for 12.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's a rough go of things. It's you're not if you're the New York Rangers, you can't do much with that. But yeah, a full team effort. Every single Sabres forward picking up a point in this one. Jack Quinn and Dylan Cousins. Oh
Hmm.
my God, they have life. They actually like legitimately looked good tonight.
Yeah, Jack Quinn had a fantastic pass from the corner out front on Benson's goal. Just that was great. That was great eyesight, you know. That's a tough play to time too. It's so, tic tac. You gotta just fire it as hard as you can and get that tip before the goalie could slide across and make that save.
Even on the Cousins goal, they made some nice plays. Zach Benson has really brought a spark to these two players, and we probably didn't anticipate this considering what they played together early in the season, and not, they weren't any different than they were with everybody else, and they've looked pretty good the last two games, which is really encouraging. That's why we've looked so good. We've had four lines just rolling.
This all falls under the umbrella of Dennis Gilbert, JP. Okay, this is a trickle down effect we're seeing, all right? It goes from he's at the top, then it goes down to Zach Benson, to Cousins, to Quinn, all those guys. So you could thank him. Thank number eight.
The stats don't lie. I would agree with you.
What did was it Nick Wright that did it? He has like the Mahomes pyramid. It's just the Dennis
Yeah,
Gilbert
yeah.
period pyramid.
Mahomes Mountain.
Yeah,
Mahomes
or
Mountain.
Mahomes Mountain. So you get the Gilbert. I don't know, Gilbert Mountain. Just him at the top and everybody else in the tiers below.
The Gilbert Glacier.
The Gilbert Glacier. You know what?
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. We might stick with that.
We might have to run with that.
But yeah, Zach Benson, the line looks great, and most importantly, like he looks healthy. They really took their time with this, and I think it's paying off. He looks quick. He looks engaged. He took a penalty tonight because of a body check. I mean, he did kind of jump into Adam Fox, but um, he took a hit, a boarding penalty. It
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what you want to see from that second line. They have been so sorely lacking that, and they only scored one goal at 5-on-5. The three of them, but things just fall into place because there's less pressure on the Tage line and there's less pressure on the McLeod line, and then even the fourth line. I mean, Beck Malenstein had an end-to-end rush tonight that ended in a goal. Like, holy hell, they were firing on all cylinders. It was awesome.
Hmm.
That's a team that's desperate for some wins.
And hopefully they just, keep stringing them along and they don't keep flipping 3-3 because that'd be even more of a roller coaster than we saw last season.
And we spent a long time on it last episode. The goaltending. Yeah, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, you are riding him as your starter for the foreseeable future. These
Hmm.
last two games, he's been fantastic. The score says these were dominant wins by the Sabres, and I'd say tonight was dominant. I mean, we were joking about it before we hit record. The deserved to win-o-meter says the Rangers had the Rangers at like 92, 93%. I don't know about that,
Makes no sense.
MSG scorekeepers, but uh, definitely, I think tonight was pretty dominant. You could tell they were controlling the pace of play. And then the Senators game, they were the better team and just were more opportunistic. And those scores tallied very big in favor of the Sabres. But both games, man, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen was stellar. He made huge saves tonight against Ottawa. He had that big 2-on-0 save early in the first period against Noah Gregor. The composure, the patience. He's not flopping all over the crease. He's not out of the crease as much. He's showing signs of the goaltender he was last season.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say he looks very calm and under control where he wasn't earlier in the season. So that's how you know that he's starting to feel himself. And
Yeah, he does look a lot more fundamentally sound. You did see a lot of just crazy out of both your goaltenders earlier in the year. You saw a lot of just, sloppy crease mindedness and they were just all over the place. They weren't making the easy saves. And then you'd see them make the difficult save and you just get frustrated even more that they weren't making the easy save. And seems like he's in a rhythm. So just keep stringing him along until, you know, You got to give him a rest. If a back to when's the next back to back? Like next week sometime, maybe. I'd say you get Levi in for a game if it's like a cupcake. Maybe the Canadians game. I know they play the Canadians after the Flames on Saturday.
Yeah, they got the Flames on Saturday, Canadians on Monday. It's an afternoon. Oh, yeah, afternoon game. Um, Thursday they got St. Louis, then Saturday Philadelphia, then not till Wednesday they play Los Angeles. Their next back-to-back was not until November the 22nd and November the 23rd.
I would say you give him the Canadians game.
I think
Me
that's
personally. I mean, they're bottom of the Atlantic. If you want to give Luukkonen a rest night, and if you want to get Levi in there for a game, but
it's
I
like
don't
it's
know.
like we
I don't know
talked
what
about though.
Ruff's
Like
mindset is.
you're not really in a position to really be handing out
Right.
starts
Yeah,
like that. Like
you're right.
maybe
You're right.
maybe if you beat Calgary, fine. If you beat Calgary and you want to test the waters, get Luukkonen a start, fine. But if you lose against Calgary and let's say they dominate you and Luukkonen played great, you go back to Luukkonen.
hmm
Um, because then otherwise
Especially
he's like 5 days between starts.
Canadians have
Yeah.
one of the best goal scorers in the league too. So I mean, you gotta make sure you really have UPL in there for that.
Yeah, and
Who
one of
who
the best
Lane Hudson?
and one of
You
the
talking
best
about Lane
bag
Hudson?
skaters in the league apparently.
God damn it.
It's like you're not in a position to really be making like you just ride the hot hand. It's just what you do. You're in no position until you get like 5 games over 500. You should not be handing out starts based on like development. You're trying to win games.
All right, so we've played 14 games, right? Listen to some of these stat lines, right? Tage Thompson, 16 points. JJ Peterka, 12 points. Alex Tuck, 12 points. Jason Zucker, 11 points. And I believe Darlene has 10 points. So that's 5 players who are have have already hit double digit point mark. You got 4 forwards right there who are close to a point per game. And I think the most surprising one is Jason Zucker on the third line
He's been
might be
so
having
good,
like a
man.
career year. Like
He's been
it's
so
crazy.
good, man.
We can't waste this. We gotta ride this into the playoffs this year. We can't waste this opportunity.
There's a serious possibility. There's a serious possibility if Jason Zucker somehow keeps this up. I mean, he's getting first power play unit time. In this scenario, he is. Dude, this might go down as one of the best Buffalo Sabres free agent signings ever.
It might it's not a high bar to pass.
It's not,
So
but
Yeah.
still. I mean, he's got a
do you
career. He's got a career high 64 points, and that was 16-17. I mean, right now he's on pace for 64 points. He's on
do
pace for his
you
career high.
do you extend?
Oof, man, I don't know. It's hard to say no.
That's what I'm saying. But do you get backed into a corner like what happened with Jeff Skinner? The guy has a
I
career
was gonna
year in
say
his first year.
you paid him $5 million. You knew he wasn't worth that at the time, but you paid $5 million to get him here. Is he gonna ask for a raise?
Oh God.
I don't think. I don't think they can do it. I think no. We just enjoy the ride. Have some fun with it. If he wants to come back for cheap, then perhaps. But they got a lot of money to hand out this offseason, especially Paterka. I mean, look, JJ Paterka had the best goal of the night, and it didn't even
And
count.
it didn't count.
That was
Yep.
ridiculous, dude.
Yeah.
Like I know it's Jonathan Quick, but he took advantage of that and just roofed one from below the goal line. I mean, that was just nuts. And I mean, he's just obviously we've talked about it a lot. He's on his way to get paid, and hey, if Jack Quinn, if he's alive, man, he's gonna get paid too.
I don't know if he'll get paid as much, obviously, but
My favorite stat line might be Ryan McLeod has 9 points through 14 games. How many points do you think our old buddy Jeff Skinner has on the Oilers right now?
Ooh,
This is probably
like
not updated for tonight.
6.
He has 6 points.
Okay.
oh,
Is
I
it
was
3
gonna
and 3?
It's 3-3. It might
you
not be
go.
Damn it,
updated for
Jonah.
tonight, but
I was gonna say six. I was gonna say six, but I would have said like 5-1. I wouldn't
Hmm.
have said three
Yeah.
and three.
I think more importantly is I'm pretty sure McLeod has more NHL points than Savoy does AHL.
yes, that is also true.
We may have fleeced the Edmonton Oilers.
Let's not go
To be
so
seen.
far.
To
Let's
be
not go
seen.
so far. But they
To be
made the
seen.
right trade. Like
Yeah, for them, yes.
Savoy could become the next big thing, but like this is a trade they just needed now.
Hmm.
Like let's say this is where the second line takes off. Let's say, it's Dylan Cousins finally starts going, Jack Quinn finally starts going, Benson was like the missing piece and just they go from here. Look, I know they're below 500, but could have been a lot worse if they don't have Ryan McLeod. Like if Peyton Krebs is your third line center with Greenway and Zucker, like maybe it's passable. It's not as good as it is now. That trade has really, really helped them, and he's Ryan McLeod is the perfect hockey player, man. He just is.
I've even been seeing some Oilers fans. They're struggling a little right now, and they're saying, "Oh, we could use a nice little fast third line center right now. We could use a nice little Ryan McLeod." So,
They're a game. We have the same record as the Oilers right now. The
yeah.
Sabres and the Oilers are both 6-7-1.
Yeah, I
That's
know,
crazy.
like God forbid they don't have the greatest hockey player of this generation on the ice for a couple weeks and everyone starts losing their minds over there.
They have him on his Superman like John Cena injury comeback arc where he was supposed to be out for like 3-4 weeks and I think he's playing tonight.
Is he?
I think they said he might be in the lineup.
Oh my God.
That's how bad things are. Like they play I saw they played who was it? They played Nashville and then who Leon Draisaitl always like uplet like it's Josh Allen on Miami levels. He has like 40 points in 19 career games. And then they
Against Nashville?
Yeah, and then they played
Oh
Calgary.
my
And
God.
so Leon Draisaitl went off both games, and then they're like, "Here we go, here comes the hard campaign," and I think they're winless in their last two, something like that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Connor McDavid's playing tonight, or there was talk he might enter the lineup. Oh, he played last night. Oh my God, he played last night. There you
He's
go.
already
And they still
back.
lost. And they still lost.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
that's
see that
crazy.
Jack Eichel goal. Man, he just Bouchard flat-footed, Jeff Skinner not classic, not back checking.
Did you see Skinner came in
Sight to
at the
see.
end too?
He just kind of did a little sweep by.
Yep. He gave it his best shot.
He looked like me in beer league. That's like when you're like gliding into the zone and you're just like, please don't score, please don't score. And then you get close enough, you're like, oh shit, I gotta do something now.
Funny, funny stuff. Trades work, folks. Prospects for NHL roster players. It works, you know, assuming you pick good roster players, but
Mhm.
more of those trades would be welcomed. So I did want to ask the question. So it's funny. It's a great story. Dennis Gilbert has been great since entering the lineup. Jacob Bryson has been great. Do you do you keep like do you keep Yoki Haru and Samuelson out of the lineup as long as possible? Do you keep them out until they start winning again,
Oh, you mean losing again?
or what? Yeah, losing again. Do you work in one of them against Calgary?
I mean, how many right-handed defensemen do we have on the ice right now?
Just one.
It's
Just one.
does it matter
Who
though?
needs him?
No, we're winning
Lindy Ruff's
games.
used to it, man.
Oh no, yeah, he is definitely used to that. But it's like Lukanen, man. It's like whatever works in the moment. You just ride the hot hand, I guess. I don't think you take Bryson out. I think Bryson should stay in the lineup.
Let's say okay, so yeah, that's an interesting point. So like let's say they lose Saturday, like a I don't know, like a 3-2 loss. You play Montreal Monday. Who are you putting in? Do you put anybody in, actually? I should specify. Who goes in first? Do they both go in? Do they both stay out?
It's so weird because it's like my initial thought would be put Samuelson in, but at the same time, it's like he's not right-handed, but also Lindy Ruff doesn't really he cares, but also you make do with what you have. I don't know. Who do you think, in your opinion, who do you think's been playing worse?
I think Yoki Haru's been playing worse. Now Samuelson's been in a third pair role. Most of his blunders have come on the penalty kill, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's what he talked about with Lindy Ruff. I think both goals against Detroit, he was caught. I don't know, one he definitely was. I think, he's been fine. It's just, he's been in a very sheltered role in sheltered minutes. But, Yoki Haru at times has like legitimately like been bad and he's playing with power or mostly Darlene. So I think Samuelson goes back in first. You also got to, he is an assistant captain. So yeah, it's tough. Like I said, Gilbert's a good story, but it's going to catch up to at some point, him or Bryson. They're not every day. They're great when you can rotate them in. You need a fresh jolt. They're in roles. Everybody's in a role they should be in right now. Um, you just like Yoki Haru and Samuelson are two guys that need to elevate.
Hmm. I think personally, it'll be whenever they lose, both those guys are going to come back at the same time. They're both just going to go back into the lineup. But if it were me, I would keep Bryson and pull Gilbert for Samuelson and then maybe give it another game, see what happens. And then if it's more of the same, just put Yoki back in for Bryson.
Yeah, I don't think this is a long-term solution. But I think this just shows the accountability we have this year that we haven't had in past years. This is, hopefully a kick in
Hmm.
the ass for Yoki and Samuelson, and they'll come back playing a lot better. That I'm honestly pretty confident that they're going to come back with a little more fire and their games are going to elevate. And yeah, I think at this point, I don't think there's any reason to take Bryson out. I think he's been great. I don't think with how our pairs are constructed, I don't think there's anybody better to pair with Power right now. And I think that's okay. I think, Clifton and Gilbert will probably be the two out if they bring both of them back in at the same time. I mean, like Jonas said, Gilbert's been a great story, but I think he's had the least amount of minutes each game as a defenseman. So it's just a short term answer, but it's working out. And especially with your top pair, Byram and Darlene have been looking really good. It's funny what happens when you put a player with Darlene, how good,
Owen Byram had, I think, the highest game score tonight. Like he's been, the numbers weren't great against Ottawa, but I think he's got a point streak going now. Tonight he was great. That's your top pair.
Hmm.
They don't go anywhere.
Yeah, keep that rolling. But again, whatever works.
Do you want to hear a stat?
Hit me with the numbers.
So the Sabres are currently 6-7-1. And I also saw a stat tonight that at one point the 05-06 Sabres were 7-8.
How many times,
Chew on that for a few seconds.
how many times a year have we made a comparison like that?
I remember putting out there that like during the 22-23 season, like when they were in the midst of that, losing streak,
Mm.
I remember saying that and it almost came to fruition. They almost pulled it off.
You lose 8 games in a row, man. That is a difficult hole to claw out of. And they almost did.
So I just want to check because I know they were headed to overtime. How did Tampa finish up? Tampa lost in the shootouts.
Okay.
So I don't know if they updated the standings, but the Sabres are
I think
either
they're 2 points out, one or two.
the Sabres are currently 2 points out. 2 points out of a playoff spot. Only 2 points out of third place in the division.
Boston made its way back.
Yeah, yeah. We didn't even do them and this team stinks.
Never
Oh
got the
well.
chance.
Oh well. Oh well. They'll learn soon enough. The friggin' Detroit Red Wings, man. 6-5-1. They're over 500. How do they keep doing it? How do they keep doing it?
The
Oh
real
my
question
God.
is, how do we not do it?
Dude, I know that they had that really bad game against the Hurricanes, but the Rangers are the first wild card. Their goal differential is plus 15. The Bruins are the second wild card. Do you want to know what their goal differential is?
-2.
Minus 11.
oh my God.
That's
Wasn't the Capitals like -40
Oh,
something and they made the playoffs?
theirs was so
Yeah.
bad. Theirs was actually terrible.
That's like tank level goal differential. Like I think one of the tank Sabres teams was like minus 50 something.
Mm, up there with a playoff team.
Great.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. But it's early season, and these were two big wins for the Sabres. It's always compact at the beginning of the season, so you shouldn't take too much comfort in this. But it's something. They're only 2 points out. If I don't know if it's possible, but there might be a scenario they're in a playoff spot come Saturday afternoon. Probably not, but as soon as Monday they could be. And we've been talking about it. They go back for a what 3-game homestand right here. Calgary on Saturday, very beatable team. Montreal on Monday, very beatable team. St. Louis on Thursday, very beatable team. And then Saturday in Philadelphia, that's a very beatable team. And then they go to the West Coast where the Kings have been good, but then you play Anaheim, San Jose. It's this is the stretch right here, right now. You need to pick up points in your next. Let's just say, I mean, at this homestand, you need to take 2 of 3 at least. Preferably, you take all 3.
Would be
Um,
nice.
when you go West Coast, once again, you need 2 of 3. Like, this is it. This is how you get yourself back in the playoff conversation. It has to happen right here and right now. And tonight, man, it's a good sign. This is like that's the second performance like this season where they just I think came out in a fashion where like I just didn't expect. Like I expected them to put up a good effort against a New York team that's been rolling, but a 6-1 win, reminds me of that Dallas game where like even against Dallas, like they hadn't been playing good, and then all of a sudden they're toe to toe with a cup contender. This is another one of those. So very encouraging stuff.
They've had some better quick starts to the games too, which we really haven't seen with this team in a while, to be
Have they
honest.
been down early that much? I don't know if they really have.
Not as often as last year.
Not as
I
often as
could
like,
tell you for sure.
or just under Granato, man. Like they were so bad at starting games under Granato.
Hmm.
Like it was a
Yeah.
problem. It was a problem.
The boat was at the bottom of the harbor before it could even start.
So yeah, very, very good stuff. It's a shift on a dime. Last episode, once again, we're like, is this the season? Is this it? Is this how it goes down? And just like that, 2 big wins by a margin of 11-2. It's what you want to see. So keep it rolling Saturday against Calgary.
This podcast is just the "it's so over, we're so back" meme on repeat every single episode or alternating episodes.
So think other than that, unless there's anything else you want to bring up before we sign off here, I think that's all we're gonna do for this one. It's late. It's after 10. We pressed record a few minutes after the game ended. I want to get this episode out to you guys tomorrow. Have some positive Sabres hockey to talk about. Got to savor those while you get them.
Good way to end a week.
Yeah.
I got one quick stat that I saw after the Ottawa game that I really liked. Brady Tkachuk, when he fights, the Ottawa Senators are 2-7. Just a stat out there.
I like Brady Tkachuk as a player. He's a fantastic player. Would want him on my hockey team. I think he's one of the worst captains in the league, just because of stuff like he is always up to something, man. It's always
The
he's
shenanigans.
always up to shenanigans, and it's never like the good kind, you know. Like it always feels like he's doing something dirty, like when the team's losing. It feels very like it's like do that in the heat of the game, you know.
It
Like I
seems
said,
self-destructive, you know?
it's no knock on him as a player, but I wouldn't want Matt Kachuk as the captain of my team. So it's kind of the same thing there. I
Mm,
wouldn't want Jacob Truba as the captain of my team. I
yeah.
wouldn't want I think I defended Anaheim at the time, but like I wouldn't want Radko Gudas as the captain of my team. I think that one's a little bit less extreme though. So, Sens slander aside, I think that's going to do it for this episode. If you want to follow us on Twitter, you can follow us at the Sabre Report or on Instagram and TikTok at the Sabre Report. If you listen to this on YouTube, thank you very much for listening. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. If you want updates for the pod, you can follow us at Sabre Report Pod. Big win for the Bills this week, and our friends over at the Buffalo Sports Talk podcast just released their episode recapping a win against the Dolphins, so go give them a listen. But I think other than that, that's going to do it. We will see you guys next time, and as always, go Sabres.
Go Sabres.
Go Sabres.